Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the continuation of lesson 4 for the Classical Arabic for the Holy Qur'an course. So we've already looked at the dual and the detached pronouns as well as the conjugation of those pronouns. Now we'll be continuing with looking at the Idhafa phrase. So the Idhafa phrase can be translated as the possessive phrase, or something of something. Now the Idhafa phrase consists of two parts, the mudaf, which is the first word, and the mudaf ilayh. So generally phrases in Arabic have two parts to it. So far we looked at the mawsuf sifa, which consists of a mawsuf, a noun, and a sifa, an adjective that describes that noun. We've looked at the prepositional phrase, which consists of a jar wa majroor, so a harf jar, like fi or ala, plus an ism majroor, so a noun that follows the harf jar that's been made to take a kasra. Now with the idhafa, same thing, we have a mudaf and a mudaf ilayh, and they don't get separated, they stay together like other phrases as well, and they have a certain function on each other. So the mudaf is the first word, it doesn't take an alif lam or a tanween. Now generally when we look at a word, for example, let's say bint, if we add bint, because there's no alif lam here, we would have had to put a tanween, bintun. If we had an alif lam, let's say al-bint, now in this case, we would not put a tanween. However, with the mudaf, it doesn't take an alif lam or a tanween. Now generally we don't see that in nouns when they're by themselves. So the first step to recognizing an idhafa phrase is to see that there is a word without an alif lam or a tanween, because that's not something you would normally see. And then that's followed by the second word, the mudaf ilayh, that ends with a kasra, particularly with the singular nouns. So here's an example here, ahlul kitabi. Ahlu is the mudaf, al-kitabi is the mudaf ilayh. And if you notice, the mudaf has no alif lam and no tanween, which is something you wouldn't normally see ahlu like this. And the second word, the mudaf ilayh, ends with a kasra. So ahlul kitabi, ahl means people, has different meanings, but for this context we'll say people. Now because it's something of something, you'd say people of, and al-kitabi, the book. So if you wanted to say people of the book, you would use an idhafa phrase and say ahlul kitabi. Here's an example in the Qur'an, and we'll see a lot of idhafa phrases. Yawmu al-qiyamati. So focusing on that part, we have here the mudaf with no alif lam and no tanween, followed by the mudaf ilayh, which you can see ends with a kasra. The mudaf ilayh, it doesn't matter whether it has an alif lam, but the key thing to look at here is that it has a kasra at the end. So yawm means day, al-qiyamah would mean judgment. So you would say something of something, day of judgment. Or even judgment day. So the key thing here is to be able to instantly recognize an idhafa phrase based on the rules of no alif lam and no tanween on the mudaf and a kasra on the mudaf ilayh. Here's another example. We have the word rasulu, no alif lam, no tanween, followed by lafzul jalala, the word Allah, ending with a kasra. So Rasulu means messenger. And this obviously Allah. So the meaning would be messenger of Allah. Rasulullahi. So here we have some examples of the Idhafa phrase that's put into a sentence form. So we have here, for example, هذا مكتب البنت. And we can see, we already know from previous lectures that when we have an ism ishara, which is acting as a definite noun, because you're referring to something known, so it's a definite noun, plus a phrase, like the mawsuf sifa phrase or the jar wa majroor prepositional phrase, we actually get a full sentence. So here we have هذا, the ism ishara, followed by an idhafa phrase, which you recognize because we saw the first word, a mudaf, a word without an alif lam and no tanween, followed by the mudaf ilay, a word that ends in a kasra. So we should recognize that this is an idhafa phrase, something of something. So here هذا means this, maktabu means desk, and al-binti means the girl. So this would mean this is, and the is falls in between here, the desk of the girl. So we translate the mudaf first, and then the mudaf ilay. This is the desk of the girl. Now alternatively, you could have said this is the girl's desk. It's the same meaning, it's still possessive. And notice here the ism ishara هذا is in the masculine singular to match the mudaf in its gender, its number, and its so this is singular, this is masculine, so it needs to match the mudaf. Here we have another example, هذه, so an ism ishara followed by an idhafa phrase, which we recognize again because a noun with no alif lam, no tanween, followed by a noun ending with a kasra. So mudaf, mudaf ilay. هذه means this is. Kuratu means the ball. Al-rajuli, the man. This is the ball of the man. Full sentence. Now here's a little passage which we can try to read and translate. Now if you notice the harakat, the tashakil, so the fatha, kasra, dhamma, etc., tanweens, they've all been taken off. Now the reason I've put this exercise here is so that we can gradually start getting ourselves used to recognizing words without the harakat and reading them correctly. Because if you've noticed, besides the Qur'an and hadith literature in which harakat have been placed there by the ones who have written and published those books, and the reason for that is so there's mistakes aren't made which could alter meanings of what are considered sacred texts. Besides those texts, you'll see in classical Arabic literature, or even modern standard Arabic, newspapers, things like that, but especially like those old tafsir books and other classical Arabic literature, they won't have harakat in their text. It'll be like this, for example. And it's assumed, obviously, that the reader has an understanding of Arabic and grammar and would read the words correctly. And we can slowly, these words, most of these, we've already been exposed to, so we should be instantly recognizing it. There's two key things to be able to read a text in Arabic without the harakat, which may seem difficult now, but of course with time and practice and an understanding of grammar, this becomes a lot easier. The first thing is to be able to recognize the word itself. So when we have hadha, now I've been putting the harakat here as fatha and maftuh here for the dhal, but if I just wrote hadha like this, the thing is we've been using this word quite a lot, and so have we've been using this word here, هذه. We've been using it enough time to actually look at the word and recognize straight away that that's هذا and this is هذه. The words, for example, الرجل, we've seen this word enough times now to actually recognize, yep, that's الرجل. So that's the first thing, the first key thing to be able to read text without harakat. And the second thing, and this is where the knowledge of nahu or grammar comes in, to be able to recognize the harakat of the last letter, because that needs to be read correctly. So we've already looked at some examples. If I said the same word, al-rajulu, if I recognize before that this word here, I should know that that's min. Now it could have been men, there's another word man written the same way, but I should recognize in this case that it's min or miner, because we're going to join it here. Now because it's a harf jar, I should know that this word must end with a kasra now. So I would read it minar rajuli, even without these harakats being present. So in this example here, what I'll get you to do is take some time to go over this text, and what you can do for now is try to read it and fill in the harakat, and then read it correctly and then translate it. Okay, so we'll try this together now. So this first word here, we haven't seen it yet, but it's actually aina, which means where. It's a question, where. Now this part here would be an Idhafa phrase. We're trying to say, where is the book of Yasir? This is the name Yasir. So I would say here, Aina Kitabu, because we can't have an alif lam or a tanween here. Aina Yasir. So where is the book of Yasir? Huwa. So very recognized here, huwa. Just by looking at this word, we should know straight away. Huwa fi. This is al-haqibati, which means the bag. So fil haqiba, and we should know that it takes a kasra in this case because we have a harf jar before it. That's just our knowledge of grammar. Hunaka means there. So if we translate so far, we'd say, where is the book of Yasir, or in this case, we'll just make it easy, Yasir's book, question mark. And you'll see the question mark here in Arabic is reversed. Huwa, now huwa can mean he, but in this context, it would mean it. It is in the bag, fil hakibati, in the bag, there, or over there, hunak. This is another questioning, hal. It's like a questioning interrogative particle, which we'll get to later. هذا, we should recognize that straight away. هذا. Now, this is looking like an Idhafa phrase. Why? Because we have a word without an alif lam, and we wouldn't have a tanween here. And a second word here can have an alif lam, but we're obviously trying to say قال mudarrisi. Is this, so hal would mean is this, hal هذا قلم المدرس, mudarrisi would mean teacher. So is this, how will we translate قلم المدرس, the pen of, is this the pen of the teacher or the teacher's pen? Question mark. So just notice we use the Idhafa phrase to say the teacher's pen or pen of the teacher by having a mudaf, no alif lam, no tanween, followed by the word with a kasra. Na'am, which means yes. Huwa. Now this is a mawsuf sifa. It is qalamun kabirun. It is a big pen. Mawsuf, sifa, matching each other in their singularity, having a tanween dhamma. And why did it have a dhamma? Because we just have a normal sentence here, huwa, and then here, this second part here. So by default, it takes a dhamma. Aina, again, which means where. And here's another Idhafa phrase. Maktabul waladi. Where is? So maktabu means desk. Al-waladi, where is the boy's desk? Or the desk of the boy. That's what this Idhafa phrase is trying to say. And we translate maktabu first. So desk of the boy. Huwa. Tahta. Now tahta we should recognize as being a harf jar, which means we're looking at a jar or majroor. This is going to turn this word to having a kasra. We should know that straight away. Tahtal mulsiq. Mulsiqi, which means the poster. So it is under the poster. So tahta means under. It's a harf jar. So in this way we'd be able to read this as أين كتاب ياسر هو في الحقيبة هناك هل هذا قلم المدرس نعم هو قلم كبير أين مكتب الولد هو تحت الملصق. And we'll be able to read the harakat correctly and translate it accordingly by knowing the grammar. So with time we'll do more difficult examples of taking off some of the harakat, but obviously we'll do that gradually by first starting reading passages with harakat and then without. Now with the Idhafa phrase, if you noticed I've been translating, for example, Maktaba, Maktabu Bintin, for example, or Maktabul Binti. Now I would say the desk of the girl, or I could also say the desk of a girl. So there's an element of being able to know when it's definite and when it's not. Now the rule is if the mudaf ilay is definite or ma'rifah, then the entire Idhafa phrase is definite, ma'rifah. So what that means is, if we look at this example here, qalamul waladi, look at the mudaf ilay. Mudaf ilay is definite because it has an alif lam. Now because the mudaf ilay is definite, the entire Idhafa phrase is definite. So we translate it as the pen of the boy. So this qalamu becomes the pen. Not a pen, the pen. Why? Because the mudaf ilay is definite. If the mudaf ilay is nakira, then the entire Idhafa phrase is indefinite or nakira. So in this same example, but this time the mudaf ilay has no alif lam, so it's indefinite. Waladin. There's nothing to dictate whether the mudaf ilay has alif lam or not. That depends on what you're trying to say. So in this case, mudaf ilay is indefinite, which makes the entire Idhafa phrase indefinite. So a pen of a boy. Notice the subtle difference there. So if I want to say the desk of the girl, I would say, so maktabu is not going to change. It can't take an alif lam or a tanween. That's how it's going to look always as a mudaf. But the mudaf ilay will determine whether I'm trying to say the desk of the girl or a desk of a girl. So if I make this definite, al-binti, and the only rule I have to follow for the mudaf ilay is having a kasra. Now because it's definite, it would mean the desk of the girl. If I said مكتب بنت. So it's still got the kasra, it's for the mudaf ilay, but there's no alif lam, so it's an indefinite word, nakira. The whole thing is nakira, so this would mean a desk of a girl. So the question remains then, how would you say an indefinite mudaf, like a pen, to a definite mudaf ilay, a pen of the boy? So it leads on to the next slide. What you would do is put a preposition between. So prepositions are used to express the mudaf as indefinite to a definite mudaf ilay. So if I wanted to say, for example, a pit of the fire, I would have to say hufratun minan nar. So I put the harf jar here, preposition, to say that. If I didn't have this harf jar here, now this would have no tanween. Hufratun nari, then this would mean the pit of the fire, because the mudaf ilay is definite. But by putting the preposition here, so hizbum min al mu'minin, then I can have a party of the believers, so an indefinite mudaf to a definite mudaf ilay. So you'll see this in the Qur'an sometimes. Also keep in mind that the noon is cut off when the mudaf is a dual or a sound plural. So muslimu baladin. So if I had the word muslimuna and baladin, so I'm going to put these together to make an Idhafa phrase, say Muslims of a city. Now when I put them together, I have to drop off this noon and then put them together. And I put a little alif here when I drop off the noon and leave a waw like that. So it becomes Muslimu baladin. Or I could have said, for example, Muslimu, and then I could make this definite. Just a sec. Muslimul baladi, which would mean the Muslims of the city. So keep in mind that with the sound plurals, sound masculine plurals, or the duals as well, the noon drops off. Not in the singular though. So here are some more examples. So all you need to do is recognize the phrases here. We can recognize here an Idhafa phrase, qamisul waladi, because no tanween, no alif lam, followed by a word with a kasra. And here is a prepositional phrase, ala al-maktabi, because a harf jar followed by ism majroor, the kasra. Qamis means shirt. This is definite, the mudaf ilay, so the whole phrase is definite. It would mean the shirt of the boy is, the is falls between, ala al-maktabi, on the desk. Ulaika, so plural ism ishara, ashabun nar, a common Idhafa phrase in the Quran. Ashab literally means companions. They are, or those are, those are the companions of the fire. There's an Idhafa phrase here because no alif lam, no tanween, and a kasra here. And this is definite, so it becomes the companions of the fire. There, Hizbu Qaryatin. Hizb means like a party or group. Qaryatin, the village. So this is an Idhafa phrase. You can recognize the features there. But this is the mudaf ilayh is indefinite, so you would say this is a party of the village. So the whole Idhafa phrase becomes indefinite. Here again we can recognize an Idhafa phrase. Imra'atul bayti. So the woman of the house is صادقة. Loyal, I guess, or trustworthy. And notice that the adjective here is in the feminine because it needs to match the subject of the sentence, which is imra'atun, the woman. So because the woman is the main topic of this sentence, this adjective needs to match that. So in this exercise, you need to create Idhafa phrases from the following words. So you have, for example, sayyaratun and rajulun. So this means a vehicle or a caravan. Rajulun means a man. So if we wanted to say, in this case, the caravan of the man, or it could have been a caravan of a man, just depends on what the mudaf ilayh is going to be. But let's say the caravan of the man, we would say, so we take sayyara, no alif lam, and we drop the tanween, make it single, sayyaratu. Want to say the, we want to make the mudaf ilayh definite, raju, and this becomes kasra, li. Sayyaratul rajuli would mean the caravan of the man. So try the other examples, pause the video and try them yourself, and then check it with the answers. Okay, now this example, now I'm going to be making these all definite Idhafa phrases, but you could have done some of them indefinite, that's fine, as long as the mudaf ilayh was changed accordingly. So here, ahlun mujrimun, I would say ahlu, ahlu, and we can see mujrimuna. This is a sound masculine plural, but because it's going to be acting as the mudaf ilayh, no nouns or anything needs to drop off. So ahlu nul mujrimuna. We'll just change this. Now, because this needs to change the state that it's in, it will be ahlul mujrimina. Which means the people of, I guess, wrongdoing or sin. Ahlul mujrimina. Here, madinatun waladun, so you'd say madinatu. And notice how with the Idhafa phrase, you don't need to match genders with each other. The mudaf and mudaf ilayh don't need to match in their gender, because we're not really using an adjective. It's two separate entities, but they're possessing each other. Madinatul waladi, the city of the boy. The whole phrase is definite because the mudaf ilayh is definite. Aduwu, so all we do is drop off that tanween there. Aduwu means the enemy. Aduwur rajuli, rajuli. So we just put a kasra here. Ya tullabun, so broken plural, but that's okay. Tullabu madrasa, so we would say al madrasati, the students of the school. The others are pretty straightforward. Just want to focus on this one here. Here we're going to make the mudaf with using a sound plural. So we'd have to drop off the noon. So we'd say jahilu, and here الدين. ديني. جاهل الدين. So the ignorant ones of the religion or deen. Now this is the vocab list for this lecture. So memorize the singulars together with the plurals. Jannatun, jannatun, with their meanings. So the next list is some of these words. Doesn't matter singular, plural. We memorize just the one word. And some more. So we have broken plurals, which we'll have to memorize as is. And our Qur'an translation exercises for this week. So we have some pronouns, some detached pronouns, together followed by a noun. So we just translate them. We don't need to really analyze the grammar here, although as you're translating, you should keep that grammar in mind. And the next list. And the final list of Qur'an translation exercises for this lecture. So complete these exercises, these translations, go over the vocab and memorize it, and obviously make your notes and be familiar with the grammar and concepts covered. And then when you're ready, move on to lecture 5, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.